Moving on to our next session, it's employee productivity and well-being. So the wave of work from home began with an extreme positive response from employees, the sudden change of breath of fresh air, completely unprecedented and exciting, but the prolonged wave has crashed with a much stronger force than anticipated. So are employees in distress, or are they enjoying, or are they very comfortable with this entire situational change? I'll hand over to Miss Asha Subramanian, HR professional and former senior director, Human Resources, Go IBPO. Asha, you can take over now. Can you call Asha, please?
No, no, I can't hear anything. Now I am able to, little bit. No, but it's not started yet, right?
We've started now.
But I can't. Bye.
Asha, can you refresh your page if possible? Hello?
Yeah, I can see everybody, but I can't hear anything. Just a little bit of disturbance, that's all. Yes, please, now. Yes, over to you. Right? Huh? Okay. Audio video settings, right? Um,
Okay. Hi, Asha. Can you hear me? Yes. So you can. Huh. Okay. Perfect. Let's start. Okay. So I guess everyone is present now, and Asha, if you can unmute yourself and you can lead the session now.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great.
I start? Please start.
Yes, please.
Okay. Hi, welcoming everybody to the webinar. Surely looking forward for some great takeaways. And it's not the strongest of the species that survive, not the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. These words ring true at a time when we all find ourselves constantly reflecting and of global pandemic, COVID-19. Today, we'll discuss and understand further with our panelists and get few tips and views by end of the session. Vice President, People Operations.
Asha, there is a little bit of connectivity issue from your end.
Can you hear? Can you see?
Yes, now we can. Okay, I think now you're clear. But there was a lot of voice cracking in between. Can you try again once, please?
Can you hear now?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, that's good. That's good. I think we'll resume now. We can resume now.
Hi, can you hear?
Yes, we can hear you. I think there's a little bit of network problem.
Okay, so let me try. So getting back to introducing our and also welcoming our four panelists, Harjeet Kanduja, Vice President, Human Resources, Reliance Jio. Welcome, Harjeet.
Thank you, Asha.
Yeah. Anuradha Bharat, Vice President, People Operations, Razorpay. Welcome, Anuradha.
Thank you, Asha. Hello, panelists.
Ankush Arora, Senior Vice President and Head Human Resources, Rufus. Welcome, Ankush. Arijit Singh, Director HR, India and neighboring countries, Bacardi. Arijit, welcome.
Thank you, Asha. Hello, everyone.
Thank you. Okay. To start with, would like to understand from
Asha, we missed the question. If you can repeat the question, that will be good.
Asha, maybe you could type the question in the chat box too. We could pick it up from there.
Anuradha,
Yes.
should we start?
Yes, let's do that. Ajit, Ankush, Harjeet, it's wonderful to have you all here, and I'm thrilled to be part of this conversation where we talk about how the year has been so far for us and what we do and have been practicing in terms of productivity. How do we make sure that our employees continue to keep their well-being at core and figure out what to do around aspects to make sure that they're all safe, happy, and productive at the end of it. Asha is here, but
Yeah, yeah.
hi.
I can hear, and it's pretty clear. So, shall I take it up, Anuradha?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Very sorry, Harjeet. Very sorry. Okay. To start off with, would like to understand from you, how has the journey been until now to boost the team's productivity and overall well-being of employees to ensure continual functioning of business and to keep employee morale high? So, what are your views on this?
Okay, let's start with how we started this panel. So COVID was also like this, that suddenly everything is stopped and we were trying to figure out what happened. And in a real life situation, the business also started got into a situation like this. And then people figured out, okay, there is a problem with one particular connection. So let's try to do something with that. Good part is patience of the audience. The employees, they understood that there is something wrong happening and let's try to fix that. And that is the biggest contribution in the whole pandemic. If you see, when we started, there were 62 people. Right now, there are 60 people. So 2 people left, 60 people are still there. Oh my God, it is going down. So let's, there were few things which I believe most of the HR guys did or most of the organizations did. First thing was ensuring care. So this is a 3 formula kind of a thing. The feeling of you being cared was something which was very important, and it can be you show your care by saying that, okay, we are providing you insurance and nothing will happen to your family, or we will arrange for, if something happens, there will be a hospitalization facility. So those kind of things were there. Then second is, people needed assurance for anxiety that your job is going to be there, your salary is going to be there, and you are not going to get into those kind of situations. Suppose if you're not getting your grocery, then we will help you with grocery. So there were many organizations which went into that arena where they wanted to show we care for you. And when you say we care for you, you actually hold leadership talks, you talk to people and make sure that they understand that organization cares for you. Second important thing was that you enable people to work, because organizations exist because of the contribution which employees make towards the vision of the organization. So you enable people to work in this kind of environment. That was second most important thing, which was basically related to infra. And third is how to engage people to work, because the nature of work changed. Like here we decided that Asha and Anuradha are going to do the panel together so that our audience should not face any kind of problem. They should get the best experience. So important is taking care of customers. Then making sure that managers understand and employees understand that how this remote working works, how to control their temper, and making sure your own mental well-being and others' mental well-being. And the last thing, I believe most of the organizations worked on how to move from time-based jobs to outcome-based jobs. That we convert the jobs from, say, okay, you have to spend so many hours at job, rather than this is the outcome we are expecting from you. And if you can give that outcome, we are not going to question too much on ours. I believe that is what my perspective is. Anuradha, you can take it forward.
Thanks, Harjeet.
Yeah, that was a great analogy, right?
I know. So Anuradha would like to hear from your side.
Um, Very similar to, I think, what Harjeet mentioned. I come from a culture that represents empathy, personal touch, meaningful human relations, humanization. These aspects are deeply embedded in the way we approach solutions. The year that went by posed very different challenges in front of us. Just like for everyone else, I think we struggled with too many unknowns. They dictated how we dealt with everyday life. Forget about this work, right? How do you deal with everyday life? We had to be more careful with it because we were dealing with people with high emotions and the stress that came with these emotional onslaught. Everything that happened would impact people, the families, the teams, and eventually the company too. While a lot of our concepts broke the traditional approach in bringing in modern solutions, we had to be more creative to bring down emotional stress, screen fatigue, environments that did not allow for easy collaboration, isolation related problems. Some of these to the effect of dealing with a lot of basics that we've taken for granted. For example, good internet, food, a clean environment, family health, travel, freedom, all of it, right? Some of these problems, while they sound trivial, when it's all fine, these are very real too. So a lot of our approach was to do with communication and communication. We opened all channels to hear from our employees and found solutions that were practical and meaningful to them. The things that we just wanted to find solutions. It was useful, sense to people. So, those were primarily things that we very specifically focused on. Support became one of our common themes for all solutions. We found ways to be there for people. We encourage managers and colleagues to share their intuitions and to be understanding. Knowing people, the teams that they work with and their families. That became a game changer for us. Our employees and families felt cared for. That's I think what Harjeet is also very specifically stressing on, that your employees know that you care for them. So we introduced a lot of things like remote working events, COVID emergency response teams, wellness leaves, meeting-free days, water cooler sessions were running practically every hour. And basically all of this was just to keep our employees' spirits high and keep the motivations at an all-time high to whatever extent possible given the kind of situation that we were in. So that's what we did with Lasercode.
Okay. Thanks, Anuradha. Hi, Ankush. Would like to hear from you on this journey. Ankush, you're there? Okay, when Ankush gets ready, let's move to Arijit. Hi, Arijit. Welcome.
Yeah, hi, Asha. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, so what has your journey been like and your experimentation on this entire scenario?
So I was listening to Harjeet and Anuradha, some of the aspects that brought up. So the journey is still not over. That's the first thing. We are still living through the pandemic. India, thankfully, the situation is much more in control. But if you look around across the world, the situation is actually getting worse day by day, and we are doing some communications. Being a global company, our sales, we also get impacted. We are still living through the pandemic. That's fine. Second, it's not only about workplace productivity or how we are managing within our company. It's also about how this pandemic has impacted each one of our lives. It's about something which is our personal impact in our life, the way we socially interact with each other, the way our lives get impacted due to pandemic or the related aspects of it. So in totality, there is something which is unprecedented, which we have never thought of. And as has been already pointed out, that we moved from doing a crisis management to a managing more strategic aspects to now moving to a new better. The journey actually had all the elements of it. So in our company as well, the initial response was how to manage the crisis, how to make ourselves ready for things to come. From there, how do we live through those kind of aspects of work from home or work from anywhere, or still coming back to the business, to a scenario now where we are now looking at that what the future holds for us. So that's something which has been unique. This crisis has forced us in terms of digitization of the workplace in a much faster pace. The digital quotient of our people have gone up many fold. The employee care and employee well-being, which was always there in the core, but still now this is being more talked about. But this is also changing the way we are going to work in the future.
Akansha, I dropped.
So in our company,
Just drop in again.
in previous years, the way we used to work, will that model continue? Will we need to come to a physical space to really work together? Or we can still work from remote locations and connect as and when required. So that's the uniqueness about it. What future holds for us, we really do not know. The journey is still on, as I mentioned, but the learnings are many, many fold. What actually also has come to the forefront is the way we are caring for the people. This is where I think the HR function and the leadership across really need to take the place. We have never seen such kind of care from a leadership team, whatever the situation of the company is, ever before. It's about human to human connect. It's about caring about each other. It's about having that gratitude and permission for each other at every walk of life, whatever we are working on. So that's something which is very, very unique. We really hope that the new year will bring us some right elements, and new year will really help us to go over it together as we yeah, so fingers crossed, and the positivity and hope is very much required. So that's how I will sum it, how the journey has been.
Okay, thanks a lot, Arijit. Ankush, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, can we listen from you?
So I think I will not differ much from what other panelists have said, but what worked for us, like we had a lot of challenges because we were still trying to figure out what's going to happen, what's going to be the likely impact. But the only guardrail that we had was that we are not going to stop any services. We were classified as essential services. We are in the business of online grocery delivery, which was seeing a surge in demand during this whole scenario, and that is something that we very clearly articulated to all our team members, that come what may, we are not going to stop. Right now, let's figure out a way that how do we sustain. There was a drastic change in the way we operate. Right, the business model kind of changed overnight. The scale at which we operate, because of the surge in demand, like during, I think, the peak of pandemic during May, June, July, when there was lockdowns happening all over, we were actually witnessing 120, 130% month-on-month surge in demand. Right. So the challenge for us was twofold. One, some of the teams who were working remotely, how do you engage and manage them? But there was a significant chunk of people who were still working in the field. The guys who deliver your orders, the guys who are working in the warehouses, they still had to report to the work locations. So the challenge for us was that how do we manage these both scenarios? Now people who were coming to the fields, warehouses, delivery stations, right? They had their families back home. Their families were equally worried that what will happen. Are we taking all the safety precautions? Should they be going out to work or no? Right. So we had to engage at a different level, with people who are supposed to work at the warehouse. We connected with their families. We ensured them, that all health, safety, everything will be taken care. All medical expenses will be borne by the organization. Right. On a separate note, we were engaging at a very different level with people who are operating from home, because they were more worried about what is happening in the organization. Suddenly the entire social circle has collapsed. We don't meet our people, friends and fellow teammates in person. Everything is in a virtual mode, right? People were getting anxious. Company mein kya chal raha hai? What are the major decisions happening? So we kind of, jotted down few things in terms of that. How do we want to attack these problems? So one was that how do we inform people of all the changes or all the developments which are happening? And that is where I think Harjeet and Arijit also mentioned that how leadership came into play here. We did lots and lots of communication. Rather, I would say we over communicated with people on this. We spoke to a lot of people. We engaged people on a personal level. As a HR person, I can say that my team reached out to lots and lots of people, and it was not discussing something to do with work. It was more about then how are they feeling, and especially we are a young organization. Average age is around 27 years, right? I classify as one of the oldest employees in the organization. So reaching out to this generation, right, understanding what are they going through. It was not just about work. Their social circle, their friend circle has completely collapsed. So we were facing different challenges. So we laid out few things that should we give, what kind of support we can give to the organization, right? So we sensitized people around what is happening in the organization. Their jobs are secure. We didn't lay off a single person, right? So we gave them that sense of security. We on your well-being. Right. So employee well-being became the focus of, business, which was actually a benefit. So I could see the transition of employee well-being as a benefit to employee benefit as a well-being, employee well-being as a focal area for the business. That transition happened in this year. And I think that is something that we invested a lot, but we considered it as an investment. And I think now is the time when we are seeing that returns coming in, where business is stable, we are seeing growth, where people are happy with what they're doing. So it was an interesting year. We discovered a lot of things in terms of how we are operating as a business, where are the inefficiencies, how can we be more efficient. So it was definitely an interesting but challenging year for sure.
Okay. Thanks, Ankush. Okay, coming to the next part of it. It's a question. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Am I audible,
Yes,
Ankush?
you are audible.
Yes, you are audible, Asha.
Yeah, am I audible? Okay, fine. Coming to the next part of the session, it's a question that seems increasingly pertinent in our coronavirus age, as so many of us are working from home on a semi-permanent basis, right? It creates that inevitable dilemma.
Ajit, let's maybe hear from you about
how do we would like to understand how will companies deal with this blurring boundaries of work and home.
Ajit, how did you deal with employees' well-being? I think, especially when it comes to mental and emotional well-being, how did you deal with it, and what did you and your team put as measures to deal with this and help employees sail through some of this? And Ajit, can I also request you to please move closer to the mic? I think you were a tad bit inaudible the last time. So it'll be good for us to hear from you on mental well-being of your employees and the measures that you and your team took.
Sure, Anuradha. Am I audible now? Is it better?
Yeah, it's better.
It's better. Sorry for the last time. Yeah, so mental well-being definitely is a very, very important topic now. And we have realized that as a company months before that this is something is often which gets which doesn't get discussed that much. So what we did globally, we actually started a platform, and we were a bit fortunate because this platform was already there. We call it Bacardi Assist. So which is an online platform which is available to all the employees all the time, 24/7, which actually has all the different aspects to really take care of mental well-being. It's also about having a counseling service in local languages. So whenever employee feels to talk to somebody who is specialized on this topic, can really speak to that person and get some kind of insights as well. We also did lot of workshops, mental well-being workshops for our employees. At the same time, we also talked about it to our leadership team. Harjeet brought it out very beautifully in the first opening that it's all about output. It's not about number of hours being worked. That is one part of it. Second part of it, often we felt that it's also not being about the perfect in the new scenario. It's about how you can be impactful and how you can be incredible. And we really need to pass on that gratitude to our employees that how they are managing so many things in their sort of family space, be it children's school online, be it everyone not getting any kind of house help, or be it any kind of social restrictions in their own areas. So to be grateful about how employees still able to take out time and contribute to the team output. So that's something we really felt is very, very important to communicate to our leadership team and encourage the leadership team to reach out to their employees, maintain that connect. So that's another part. The third aspect, we felt the physical workspace, how it's very beautifully brings out the culture of the organization. And in the remote working, often the organization culture really gets diluted because we are not in connect with each other, we are not talking to each other, we are not able to spend that water cooler time or whatever informal relationship we have with each other. So how do we really bring it together? So we felt that let's create those online platform, and that's the beauty of online platform, that we can create with limited investment, we can actually create beautiful experiences which may not have that physical element, but which can actually give a platform for employees to connect with each other, because that also gives a platform to really talk about it, understand what's going on in their lives, and share how they can help each other. So these are some of the elements which really help, which is in focus. There are continued investment on that. We have recently tied up with a professional agency wherein we are now bringing in a concept which is called mental well-being first aiders. The idea is that we will have those first aiders in each and every location of the company, wherein those employees who will be trained in those concepts, and they can be the first response to any kind of issue which can arise out of because of this remote working, because of this prolonged work hours, or because of this constant stress, that how do we manage everything at work as well as at home. So these were some of the elements which we are doing, and of course a lot of learnings along the way.
Oh, that's brilliant, Ajit. I think I especially like the fact about you bringing in first aiders for mental well-being. That seems to be a first time that I've heard of, and I would love to actually speak to you a lot more in detail on that. But that's a brilliant concept, and I think the other aspect of how you try and bring in a lot of real-time problems, like how do you attend to home chores, how do you still bring in a work balance and still maintain empathy when you know that somewhere you say that productivity is dipping, and maintaining that human angle. I think that's the key to how we are going to look at it. But let's hear it from Ankush about how and what they implemented over the last 8-9 months, very specifically from an aspect of positive workplace environment, and how did you bring in productivity to all of this?
Yeah.
Over to you, Ankush.
Sure. So, like I very briefly mentioned, so we had few steps outlined very clearly that what we need to do. First and foremost, like I said, the employee well-being was the center of everything. Apart from managing business and ensuring that the business stays up and running, we wanted a heavy focus on employee well-being, both physical safety and well-being, as well as emotional and mental well-being. So we took measures on both aspects, and we defined very strict protocols of health and safety for people who are reporting to work locations, like the field areas, right? And free testing for everyone, those kind of things. If anyone unfortunately got diagnosed with an infection, we did a deep cleaning of the entire facility. The entire facility was shut down for 18 to 24 hours. A third party WHO certified agency used to come in, clean the facility, and once we were assured that this facility is ready for up and for business, then only we opened, right? And any case detected in any of the facilities warranted the fact that all team members who are working there had to get tested, right? And we guaranteed people that there is not going to be any loss of pay, especially for people who are working on a per packet or on a per hour basis, the contract labor. We guaranteed no loss of pay. All leaves will be paid leaves if anyone is recovering from this infection. The other aspect, what I mentioned, was that in terms of emotional and mental well-being, there was a lot of anxiety in people. Given the fact the entire social circle is gone, there's no office, we are stuck at home, right? So we extended a dedicated counseling service to all our team members and their families. So even if their spouses, their children, their parents or in-laws or anyone in their family circle is undergoing any of these issues, whether it is some anxiety or some depression or anything, right? And we came up with a dedicated service that they had access to counselors, and all information was confidential. It was just the organization which was paying for it. They didn't have to spend any money on it. Having said that, apart from this, when we started working, there was a lot of work pressure for sure, right? One of the pitfalls of working from home is always seen that you tend to lose the sense of time, right? So there were meetings set up at 9:30. There were late night calls which were happening, right? So we could see some concerns there. So we kind of then laid down procedures and processes that it is absolutely fine if you say no to a meeting, right? We could understand that while people are at home, there were additional responsibilities, not just on married people, not just on it even impacted the guys who were single, right? Not just females, even the males had to contribute towards household chores, right? So we could get that sense of additional responsibility that people are taking up at the personal front. So we tried to strike a balance where we sensitize managers that please be sensitive that there has to be a dedicated lunch hour, like we used to do in office. And if a team member is busy, he says no, that he's not available for a meeting, it's absolutely fine, right? As far as productivity is concerned, we definitely saw a surge in productivity, but we never ever thought of tracking somebody that how many hours he or she is clocking, right? So we were very clear that we are not going to track your attendance. In fact, we never ever tracked anyone's attendance, how many days is he working to office or is he coming there, right? It was more in terms of what are you supposed to deliver, the outcome-based approach, which I think Harjeet also mentioned, right? We, of course, the hygiene things in terms of providing infra, enabling people to work from home. We hired a lot of people in this era. So the entire piece of onboarding, induction, everything went remote, right? But the beauty of this thing was, and I think this is something that I keep on telling in every seminar that I'm part of, we always put a tag on millennials and the young generation that they are very fickle-minded. They are very materialistic. They want cash in hand and blah blah blah. They're not this. They are, they are not good at decision making. They are very tech savvy and all. But I think what saved us in this pandemic is this generation only. They came together. They came with some brilliant out of the world ideas, right? Even as I can say that when my HR team was struggling for how to keep this workforce engaged, right? We went ahead and started involving these young people. Kids who have just joined us after college or have been in the system for 1.5 years. They came up with some brilliant ideas that, how we can create an informal culture, how we can connect with people, how can we do some, things like team lunches over the virtual environment, right? How we can actually mentor each other, how we can be a buddy to somebody who's facing some issues at home, right? So all these things, all these ideas really helped us in terms of building a workforce which was engaging, building a workforce which was happy, and yet delivering on thing. For us, like, it was a war cry kind of a situation where we said, when government of India was pushing everyone to stay indoors, we had an objective that if 400 people of Grofers work in a warehouse, there are 40,000 citizens who are enabled to stay at home. So for those 400 people to come to work, right, we did everything possible, whether it is their safety, their health, their emotional well-being, their infrastructure, their transportation, right? We did everything. In fact, most of our warehouses are located in remote areas, which are surrounded by villages. There was a scenario where villages were actually under lockdown, and these people had to they were actually barred by the village panchayats to not to step out of the village, otherwise they will lose their home and everything. So my team members actually went, spoke to the sarpanch. We did all these kind of negotiation. We were sitting in police stations till 3 a.m. in the morning to get the curfew passes for our people to move around, for our vehicles to move around. And for me,
very untold story. Most people wouldn't even have known, the kind of efforts that the people who served, essential services and, frontline workers. What a brilliant.
So for us, these guys were the real heroes.
Absolutely, yes.
For us, these guys were the real heroes. They were, negotiating with police on the number of passes, ensuring that our vehicles move through the barricades very easily. Yeah. Working with the local administration. There were people who were sitting in the DM's office or DC's office just to get permission to operate the warehouses or dispatch centers, right? And mind you, these are the young generation that I'm talking about. Yes. The kind of hustle that these guys put up, right? Hats off to this generation for making this possible. And being very honest, you will hear similar stories in every organization. Oldies like me, we had no idea how to tackle with it.
Yeah, if you say you are a oldie, then where will we go?
Harjeet, you look far younger than me.
So the whole point is somewhere I think we all, in a lot of ways realize that technology is what is out of the situations that we were in, and is also what is going to lead the way for us. So on this note, brilliant story, Ankush. We really enjoyed listening to what you said and how your team actually pulled this through, and the ability that you were able to bring in very similar benefits to not just people who are working in the office, but also leaders who are on serving souvenir position. Asha, would you like to take over?
I'm a special guest here, Anuradha. I don't know what's happening. It's kind of like, on and off.
Don't worry about it.
I could hear the entire Ankush's story, and it was really awesome. And the front line, especially, we probably would have missed something. I would like to, talk to Harjeet on one particular question. A small shift in life for a big change, right? This unprecedented times, Harjeet, are a real opportunity for employers to show how much they value the well-being of their employees, right? And to show that they're actually human beings to them and not any dispensable robots. What's your views on holistic approach to the problem? Can be the best solution in today's unprecedented scenario. It can be physical, emotional, intellectual well-being, right? What would be few executionable simple tips you like to share?
Okay, can I start with a story?
Yeah, sure.
So when the organizers of this webinar approached me, what they told me is, we are doing a webinar and Asha ji is going to host it. So I was thinking Asha Bhosle is coming to the webinar, and then they told me Arijit is also coming. So I said, Arijit? I was thinking Arijit Singh. So he said, that Bacardi guy. I said, I know, you need Bacardi when he sings. Then he said, Anuradha ji is also coming. And I was thinking Anuradha Paudwa. And then they said Ankush is also coming, and I was thinking Ankush Bhardwaj of that Indian Idol, and I was stressed. I said, I am not even a singer. Why are you calling me to a webinar which is like all singer oriented? Then they told me it is not Asha Bhonsle, it is Asha Subramaniam, and then I cooled down. The point I'm making here is when you look in these kind of situations, what happens is people panic. And the only way to come out of panic is you start questioning. When you question, those mental blocks which are there in the mind, those go away. We think that body is creating any problem. Look, all your body problems which are prevalent nowadays, whether you talk about diabetes, whether you talk about heart disease, any of these things, they actually come from mental stress. When people panic, when there is anxiety, when you want to avoid something, you don't want to face anything. And it is not that solution is something which is very difficult. It is a basic solution. The way Ankush was talking about, look, if you want people to be happy, one thing you need to do is make sure that along with work, they are doing workout. Physical health, let people breathe, drink, eat, walk, talk, laugh, take a break. So these things are very, very important. In fact, I would allude to a story of Ankush. So I was also facing this problem, like day continues, and then I said, okay, how to solve this problem? I solved it for myself. I said, the place I'm sitting here with the clock behind, this is my workplace. So till the time I'm sitting here, I am in office, and moment I leave from here, I am home. So if you're calling me in my office hours, then I am taking your calls, and if I have left for home, then it will take me some time to again start. So when you talk about actionable items from HR point of view, if we do basics of HR, like you design environment which is ergonomical, you have working hours, you have proper breaks, you know when to start, when to end. Then you design work, the work which is based on competency, not like I am not a singer and you put me with singers and so that I panic. You give me work which is as per my competency. There is some amount of excitement, some amount of stress, not that much stress which creates burnout. And another important thing is work should be meaningful, because when we talk about holistic well-being is not only about physical or mental, it is about spiritual thing also. It touches your soul, that whatever I am doing, is it meaningful? So you have to create meaning in the work, that when you are doing something, you are actually serving people. So many people are getting benefited from your services. If you are create that meaning for an employee, then employee feels that the person is doing something great. Third important thing is that you create culture of respect, culture of integrity, culture of safety. So those are the things which people want to have, because if those things are not there, they create dissatisfaction and then a feeling of growth. So for that, what you do is you design career path. When you are designing career path, you show that okay, this is how you are going to grow. These are the things which people want, and it is not that I made this theory. This is basically Maslow's theory. People want their basics to be taken care of, then their need of safety, then their need of being associated with people, and finally going to self-actualization, where you want to contribute something to society beyond yourself. So If you just keep that Maslow hierarchy in your mind, then designing programs and doing that basic stuff will make a lot of sense.
Well said, Harjeet. A lot of things are, I think, mostly to do with how do we deal with the basic needs that a person has. How do we manage those, etc. Which also there are a few questions that came up. I think some of these also could be answered mostly from a design perspective of what are the practical solutions that we could look at. So what either of many of us could take up this question. What will be the defined benchmark for organizations to assess employees on the basis of outcome-centric work? Is one question that has come up, and the other one is about the effective way to thoroughly track the team's remote productivity to avoid putting too much control pressure on the employees. How do we track productivity, and what are the defined benchmarks for productivity? If we could, take up some of these. Arjit, Anshul, Harjeet, Asha, any of you would like to take a lead?
Anuradha, okay. Yeah, go on.
Would any of you like to take a dig at the questions, please, in the interest of time? I think, there's another session that's going to start in the next 5-7 minutes. So,
Anuradha, I can take up that benchmark wala question, which
yes.
I think
which
Lopamudra has put up on the chat. So, see, I wouldn't call it really a benchmarking exercise where you actually define the parameters that this needs to be delivered by this date or something like that. I think the kind of people that we have today, the kind of workforce that we have, I think they are cognizant themselves in terms of, if we are working on an outcome-based approach, that certain deliverables have to be done, and it's built in their business as usual. It's built in their way of working. And I think what happened, and this is, I can speak for my organization, what we did was we defined a very clear-cut guidelines in terms of the reviews that are going to happen. When I say review, it's not an individual's review. It was more in terms of the business and the functional review, right? So we laid down those guidelines where we said that we will meet, maybe for certain parameters, we will connect once every day. For certain parameters, it will be on a weekly basis, and so on and so forth. So that helped people to understand that this is something that I need to do on a daily basis. This is something that I need to track on a weekly basis. This is I need to complete by this day. So I think by an indirect way of telling people that, while we are working remotely, there's nobody to supervise you. There is, your manager is not there physically in front of you, but we are all accountable for our own work, right? And our nature of business is such that, it's very easy to figure out that, where the slip up is happening. So if for example, if as a customer, I log on to the portal and I am not able to see a certain product, or I am not able to see the correct pricing, I know where the fault lies. I know which team or which group of individuals has kind of, not able to deliver something. So I think what we made it very clear to people was that we are all accountable for our own work. We will not get into the nitty-gritties of setting benchmarks. We will not get into the nitty-gritties of tracking your online activity in terms of how many hours you are logging in or staying online. But at the end of the day, what we are looking at is that it's business as usual. We are all in together. Do it as you were doing it in office. Do it as if you are being supervised. You are taking all possible helps. You are free to call up your managers. Even if you are not there, just inform people that I will not be able to do it. Let's get it done from somebody else.
Yeah, and I think a lot of these things also stem from the aspect of how do we build in a trusted environment in people. I think that helped a lot with us, giving them very short goals and see the successes. I think those definitely helped a lot in terms of generally overall boosting productivity for people. So the short goals, when they are measurable, I think automatically people start feeling in a lot more positive about the remote working environment, the situations that we are in, and those short successes give them so much more motivation to do a lot more. So that automatically, like Ankush says, brought in a lot of accountability and ownership in people. So that helped even at Razorpay for us. Thanks for that, Ankush. Harjeet, Arjit, either of you would like to? Asha, you're on mute. Asha, you're on mute.
So, Arijit, I just wanted one question to wind up the session. How do you see 2021, the year of change that enables basically the agility and flexibility to probably have a good progressive report card for both organization and employees? If all of us can, like, probably give 1 minute on this, and we can probably wind up.
Sure. So let me
Arijit,
start.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm starting. Sure. Yeah. So it is going to be a very, very different way of working. That's how I look at it. The pandemic has taught us many new aspects, and the way my theme will be new better. It's not new normal, it's new better. What we have learned from the pandemic and how do we use those learnings for making our life much better, the way we create more impact for the company. So that's what we need to look at. Physical workspace, will it be there? Will it not be there? Will it be mix of it? Work from anywhere, it will not be work from home, it will be work from anywhere. The way we consider productivity in maybe 2020 or before, that concept has to completely change. Productivity is not hours of work. Productivity is not how many emails I've sent or how many meetings I've done. It's all about what is the impact I'm creating for myself and for others and for my team. So that needs to come in. Leadership will be much more empathetic. Leadership will be much more listening and really being conscious about how we all are able to kind of contribute given the kind of current situation. So these are the themes which will come into place. And yes, there is hope that things will be much better, things will be different, and things will be better.
Okay. Thanks, Arijit. Harjeet, would you like to add on this?
Yeah, I believe in 2021, there will be a lot of work towards hybrid structures, that how work from home and how work from office will work, whether everything will be remote or like 1 day in a week or 1 day in a fortnight or 1 day in a month you are going to come to office. So those kind of structures will evolve, and that's how the entire thing will mature, because it cannot be either side, that complete work remotely, because still there are a lot of issues, like the question which came on how to manage remote team productivity. It is always a question mark, big question mark. Like when you go out and in the evening you come, your spouse asks, where were you all day? So there is a trust question mark. And when you are working from home, then your boss asks, where were you all day? So that is one. Another is jobs will become more outcome driven. And this is the work which will start happening. And what it will lead to is, it will lead to more gig based jobs. A lot of companies would like to pay on piece rate, like Uber does. And answering this question on productivity also, a lot of gamification is going to come in this whole piece, where you get into, say, um, pay based on how many transactions you completed, or if you complete so many transactions, then there is an incentive, so that overall productivity of the whole thing increases, and at the same time there is flexibility and there is agility. That is what I think.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Harjeet. And due to the time constraint, I think we'll need to wind up, because we've got another session coming up. Thanks a lot, panelists, and really sorry on the internet issues what we had. It was insightful and interesting discussion, and I think we've taken up already a question also. And again, thanking everybody, and stay safe and take care, everybody. Thank you, panelists, again.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you to everyone on behalf of Asha. I think Anuradha has already left. Okay, I'm going to end the session.